Welcome to Grace Episcopal Church. We miss you at the church so much, and we wish we could be together, but this is not going to be one of those years. This is going to be a different type of Holy Week and a very different type of Easter, but it's not the only one. I understand during World War II the churches were closed in England and people were not able to gather during sacred times. There's also been many plagues through the years that have scattered people and changed the way we celebrate. So we in the Episcopal Church have been thinking and talking about ways that we can celebrate this holiday in a different way. The most important thing is not where you are, it's connecting with God. And although we love our church and we love being with each other, we can connect with God in our homes. And we're going to offer 2 videos. The first one will be covering setting up a space in which to pray and to dedicate some form of liturgical worship. And Palm Sunday. We will do a second video, which will talk about Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter, with the Easter Vigil. We're going to be going back and forth between services at Grace and services that are at our cathedral in Baltimore, and they will be done by the cathedral staff. The bishop has requested for people to tune in to the cathedral during Good Friday and the Easter Vigil. They will also have services, all these services, but Grace will be doing Palm Sunday, Maundy Thursday, and an Easter Day service. The most important thing is to find a way of being sacred. You don't need to specifically do liturgical colors. Someone in the family can do prayers that are normally done or started by the priest. But it's important to come together and reach out. It's important to remember that all these services were done with Christ next to us, because Christ is risen. So we're not really play acting a service or a series of services. What we are doing is carrying the risen Christ close to our hearts through a time that's very difficult. Don't forget all the pain and suffering that's going on in the world, but also don't forget the people that are surviving, the people who are testing negative, the people who are doing well. It's a balance, as most things are in Scripture. Things that are complex and difficult and challenging, and things that are beautiful and evidence of a truly risen Lord who's always with us and loving us. You see, we have opportunities here to try new things, to create new ways of reaching out to God. And I'm going to allow Angela, who has, by the way, a beautiful sacred space in her home, to show you how to set up a sacred altar in your own home.
Hi everyone, we miss you. So setting up a sacred space is really easy because it's sacred for you, and it's sacred because you are there and Christ is with you there. So try to think of a space that you like to retreat to, where you end your day in rest. If it's a favorite chair in your living room or a little table that you like to sit beside, you can have a candle. Is it just retreating to your backyard and sitting on a bench and looking out at the trees and the flowers? A space where you feel is sacred. You can have a table set up that you can go to all the time, or you can have a portable space that you can carry with you. If you're going to sit on a bench outside, bring the box with you and set up your sacred space where you are. There are just a few things that we need to set up our sacred space. Today, we're going to use a dish towel because most of us have dish towels in our homes. Doesn't have to be something elaborate. If you have kids at home, maybe your kid has a favorite blanket or even a favorite shirt, just some type of cloth to adorn your sacred space. Lay that out on your surface. We can also add a candle to our sacred space. It can be a big candle. It can be a little candle. It can be electric. If you have kids, it probably is best to have electric candles, battery operated. We want to have a cross. Some of you might have a bigger cross or an ornate cross. A lot of us have our palm cross from last year. That's perfect. If you don't have either of those, go outside and grab 2 sticks and tie them together. Make a cross. Or have your kids draw a cross to put on your altar. Let the kids do as much of this as possible, if they can and they want to. I like to put icons in my sacred space, but any sacred picture will do. Here's a picture of Jesus washing feet. If your kids are artistically inclined, they can draw a picture for your altar. That would be even more beautiful. Some symbology we might also want to add to our sacred space is maybe something that has a fragrance that you enjoy, that brings pleasantness to your memory. If you have essential oils, frankincense or myrrh or sandalwood, if there's a particular flower that you enjoy the fragrance of, any type of fragrance that might bring you peace. Cinnamon sticks, if you have cinnamon sticks in your pantry. Spices. Also, you can put a rock to symbolize Jesus' tomb on your altar. And if any of you have prayer beads, you can put prayer beads on your altar. Also, you might want to put your Book of Common Prayer at your altar so that you can refer to it while you're sitting in your sacred space. If you don't have a Book of Common Prayer at home, you can find it online, and we'll attach a link to the online Book of Common Prayer to this video. And you can print up prayers from there. You can print up the daily office from there. And if there are any special prayers that you like to use on any given day, print them up. Bring them to your sacred space. Find peace in your sacred space. This is for you with Christ.
We would love it when you set up your sacred space if you sent us a picture of what you've done. We would love to post that on our Facebook page. One of the things that is good for an altar, you don't need more. You need what brings you peace. So if there's special things in your household that are family things that just bring people that you love to mind, that's wonderful. But you really don't need much. If you only have 1 or 2 things, that's totally fine. Make it easy, make it beautiful, make it meaningful. That's really what we're about this time that we go through Holy Week. Palm Sunday is challenging. Palm Sunday has a ritual of procession. It has the carrying of palms. And we've decided within the church, I initially had wanted to take palms and distribute them not only to people in our church, but maybe to people in the community, but it just is not the right thing to do at this point. Holy Week is going to be a time where we're going to see the numbers jumping up pretty heavily. So be prepared for that and stay focused on what you need to focus on. Stay focused on Christ loving you, stay focused on Christ caring for you through this period of time, and just reach out with your own love. You see, we have this section in our Book of Common Prayer that is called that has the Catechism in it. And in it, it talks about the priesthood of all believers. You see, each one of us has a sacredness. And you all have been through these services so often, you understand so much more than you think you do. You understand what it's like to reach out to God. You understand what liturgy really is. When we say the word liturgy, it makes people step back, but you've practiced it so much that you understand the order of things. And I know that because anytime I make a slip and things are out of order, everybody's head jumps up, and I know that I need to backtrack. So I know that you know the order of everything. That happens in every church, by the way. We Episcopalians, we're good at this. Palm Sunday, what I want you to think about, a procession is a very good thing to do because it kind of talks about the traveling that goes on to getting to the cross. Christ is going into Jerusalem. And when Christ enters Jerusalem, people have to make a decision because Pontius Pilate is bringing in a Roman garrison from the other side. So they have to decide whether they're going to be political or whether they're going to be religious with Jesus. And the people who are religious with Jesus gather with him waving palms. Now, when you're in the Middle East, that's really the only green thing around. So palms were like the big thing to wave. Olive trees were there, but those branches are kind of hard to get down with a mature olive tree. So palms were easy. But you can go anywhere and get a branch. And so Angela walked out and found this at the church. But you can go in your yards, pick a branch. If you want to do something kind of special, pick a couple others and put them on your front door, just to mark that it's Palm Sunday. And you can take this branch and walk around your house and remember the things that happen in those rooms. The kitchen, where you're making food for your family to feed them. The bedroom, where is a place of rest and peace. The living room, where hopefully you are finding good ways of being in community. The dining room, where you sit and share meals. And so it's a good thing to walk around and just have all these family memories of all the things that Jesus has blessed you with in your life. If you're able to go outside and get a branch, that's great, but we're all at different places in our life, and some of us are not feeling as well. But I bet you most of us have access to some sort of plant somewhere in our house. Maybe it's an artificial plant, but it will have a leaf on it. So I pulled this off of a bush, but if you have a plant and you just have a leaf, it's enough. Make it yours. Make it fun. Make it sacred. And if you walk around with just this leaf, it's perfect. If you have the opportunity to walk around with a branch, it's perfect. And when you get to your home altar, it's a good thing to lay this either in a vase or just lay it as it is on your altar so you remember what day it is. It's a day of rejoicing. It's a day of loving Jesus. It's a day of making a choice to walk away from all the stuff in the world that's represented by Pontius Pilate's march into Jerusalem, and to go and sit with Jesus through this period of time.